Ladies and gentlemen, it's 167th day of the Russian full-scale invasion and 9th year of war waged by Russia against Ukraine. Andriy Shevchenko, on behalf of Mediacentru Ukraina, would like to welcome all the journalists covering our fight for freedom. This time we have an unusual press briefing. We'll discuss the early music festival inaugurated in Lviv today. I would like to bring in Volodymyr Syvokhip, the Director General of Lviv National Philharmonic, to tell us more about the event. Good day, everyone. On behalf of Lviv National Philharmonic, I have a pleasure to speak on behalf of this institution as we continue the project called Muses Are Not Silent. We continue fighting on the cultural front, and today it's the Lviv National Philharmonic and other cultural institutions in Ukraine are continuing to develop the traditions, continue the titanic effort that is based on the pillars of the world cultural heritage. There's a festival of classical music virtuoso, the festival of modern music contrast, and the festival of early music. These are the three pillars, the three whales that the world stands on. We conducted yet another festival virtuoso to pay tribute to the European, global, and Ukrainian music. On the verge of the third decade, we are conducting contrast modern music festivals. When Ukraine became independent in 1990s, we were part of the global trends developing and nourishing modern music. And paradoxically, perhaps, as we celebrate the 20th almost festival of the early music in Lviv, this year we have the 19th International Lviv Early Music Festivals. We, people from Halichina, have a propensity to tradition and our old times, but the early music is often seen as European music, and we somewhat disregarded the Ukrainian ancient music. However, we kept going to the Stary Sonj site, which holds the early music festival at Stary Sonj. Our Gloria chorus orchestra would sing there, and my colleague Roman Stelmashuk sang there, and we started cultural exchanges, and we started looking into the festival. And Roman Stelmashuk was saying, why don't we have our own early music festivals, as we have a strong tradition of chorus musical, of cants, psalms, of vocal music. We have one of the oldest printed notes of music in Europe, and the phenomena of Ukrainian music goes back a long time. And in the late 90s and the beginning of this millennia, we decided with Roman to start a Lviv Early Music Festival. He sown a good seed. Unfortunately, Roman had passed away 7 years ago. His last festival was held in 2012, and now we, as his colleagues, carry on the tradition, and will be organizing the 19th music festival. I'd like to give the floor to Bohdan Sehin, the art director of the Festival of Early Music in Lviv. You're one of the initiators of the initiatives Muses Are Not Silent, which is critical at a time as Ukraine is experiencing the full-scale Russian invasion. So tell us, was your choice of pieces affected by the Ukraine's battle for freedom? Invariably, it did, as the Philharmonic and the support of the festivals that we've been conducting for decades is our part of fight. It is our music front we are fighting. We conducted the Virtuoso Festival. It had its subtitle, a special teaser. The Early Music Festival also was given a topic, and it is called At the Edge of Time. A very interesting idea. We kept thinking about it, but when we formulated it, finally, it made us very happy. The theme of the festival stemmed from its content. We'll be having 5 days, 6 concerts. Unfortunately, we have foreign performers who have long attended the early music festivals, as the early music is about European musical school, Polish and German musical schools and Scandinavian tradition. And my friends will be taking this tribute after me, have played a role in encouraging us to hold the festival this year. We are bringing in performers from Poland, Germany, and France. We'll have performers from Kiev, and we'll have a very special musician, Taras Kombanichenko, who is a Ukrainian serviceman who is given leave to inaugurate the festival on the 11th, because we are having a festival preamble today, as is stated in our program.
Microphone, Pawel Osuchowski, our guest from Poland. And from what I know, Pawel has worked with this very rich artistic legacy in Poland at the previous festivals. So what brings you here, and how do you find this having this festival in the country which is at war right now?
For us, it's very important that we can be with you, my z wami. It was maybe 20 years ago when we was first time with our Polish repertoire music in Lviv. I remember first meeting with Roman Stelmaszczuk, and we tried to collaborate together with our treasures of European music combined in Ukraine and Poland. After 20 years, we are now in a special moment of our history, and maybe music will be once more one of pillar of our culture, of our united Europe. And I believe that our work, our music, our program, concerts is some special strong to have power, to be still alive with our culture, with our tradition, all together in United Europe.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this ancient or old music? Why do you find it's important to keep this legacy?
Some phrase from imported person from Austria, Nikolaus Arnoncourt, that's probably we play early music, we like to be with connection with early music because we don't agree with contemporary time, terrible time. We would like to return to special moment in our history where the music was so important in the life of every musician, not only musician, patient in our home, our cities, our country, Europe. And of course, it was old school of Italian music, of French, German, Ukrainian, and Poland. But for me, it's more important that these languages no translation. It's no border between our culture in the music. Probably it's a reason we still are together in Poland, in Szczecin, where we live. We have a festival of early music number 19 too in this autumn.
And now I'll ask Madame Urszula Stawicka.
And now I would like to ask Urszula Stawicka to join us here at the stage. And Urszula Stawicka виконуватиме на фестивалі «Очі розкрій». Що ви привезли до Львова разом з вами?
So start for festival, and I bring music mostly from 17th century. I start this program with preambulum of Polish composer Podbielski, and all music will be connected with improvisation and some special moment to think. The mostly these works, there are works from North German music of 17th century, a lot of Pavana Lacrime and Lacrime and Lamentazione. So I think this passed very well to the start the program 19 Festival of Early Music in Lviv.
Speaking of this festival and of the program, or are there any other pieces or any other special points at this program that you would like to share with us? This might be a question to any of you.
I would like to thank Urszula for coming. Despite them having their own festival in Szczecin, and particularly, I would like to note the second concert to happen on Sunday is going to be Concordia. There will be two performances arriving from Germany and France. It's Sequentia, and they will represent medieval Scandinavian cycle of Beowulf. It's a cycle of Scandinavian texts and music about the wars. And this is the time arc connecting us. Music recognizes no borders in space, but also in time. It's 700 years since, but the music is still as relevant today as then. There's so much we can learn from art and music. If the old authors had a chance to address the modern people of this world, what would they say? What would they tell the people today through their pieces? I would like to make a joke. The old authors, recognizing their music, would say their names, as a lot of old manuscripts were either anonymous or it just stated author unknown. And this is very much the fact with a lot of Ukrainian old music, which is researched, but we keep finding the author unknown. And the time comes when the author does speak through the ages. And I'm happy that we and our colleagues can play this music and let it hear.
Address the present world. What would their message be through their works?
Always this saying, make not war, only peace and love.
Львівська філармонія, вона дуже
The Lviv National Philharmonic is a center point of the cultural life in Lviv and has been a cultural heart for Lviv and for Ukraine, and the journalists covering us know that Lviv Philharmonic is making a physical contribution to our fight for freedom and independence, having become a humanitarian hub, raising and delivering humanitarian support, medications, and has a central role to play in this sense as well. So my question is for everyone, is there time and place for music in times of war? I would say that music, as well as all other arts, are universal and democratic and accessible, regardless whether it is early, classical, modern. It speaks an universal language, as Pavel was saying. It recognizes no borders. It brings people closer. It teaches and educates people, educates us in our tradition. And in these days of war, our culture is quintessential, and it is at the edge of time, quoting the title of this year's festival.
Words that when can't find good words, it's time for music.
Павел Осуховський, Уршуля Ставіцька, Богдан Сегін.
Pawel Osuchowski, Bohdan Syvokhip, Urszula Stawicka discussed the early music festival, which starts today and will continue until August 14th. Thank you for talking to us. Please follow